Hey, what's up? So Arizona, is that all the way? Is that Pacific time or?
It's let me tell you what time it is right now because it usually doesn't obey daylight savings time. It's 9:21,
Oh, okay.
so I'm
So I
about
think
three
you're saying it's
hours.
California. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
same as
right now.
California. Okay.
Sometimes we're on Mountain Time though. It's really weird,
Oh, because you don't obey. Oh, I see. Because you don't. Okay. You
but
don't
it's
obey
it's
the.
like that. Arizona is a beautiful state with some odd people in it,
Mhm.
but some really interesting people too. I have to say.
Yeah, Sheriff
So
Arpaio lost again.
yes, thank God. I was
What was he running for again? What's running for sheriff again?
sheriff of Maricopa County, which is the largest county in Arizona.
So I helped elect someone. I helped elect someone to city council of Phoenix who created an organization that helped oust Sheriff Arpaio.
The Yabas group,
Uh, say that again.
was it called the Basta group? BA?
I don't think it was called Basta Group. I think it might have been called. It might have started with an M or something.
Okay.
What's
Are
that?
you talking about? Are you talking about Godfrey? Not Godfrey. The mayor of Phoenix that I'm talking about. I'm trying to remember his name.
No, he's not a mayor. He's in city council. I
He's
think.
in city council. Okay.
Yeah.
I've met a few. I've met a few of the city councilors.
I think. Wait, unless I'm mistaken, it's been a while.
Whatever happened to Michael Christie?
Michael Christie.
Yeah, the Christie guy.
Oh, you mean Governor Christie?
Yes.
Oh, that guy. I think his
That's
lips
Chris.
were so firmly attached. Yeah, Chris Christie.
Chris Christie.
Yeah.
Did he
His
kill it?
lips were so
Did he
firmly
commit
attached
political?
to Trump. It was sad.
Did he commit
Yeah.
political suicide?
Basically, you can't run in the New Jersey type thing forever with that type of a connection to the president. This president, it's ridiculous. You know, remember about reading the audience? That guy didn't read his audience.
Also, whatever happened, wasn't there like a very prominent Italian businessman heavily associated with Donald Trump early on?
Are you talking? Well, there was the mayor Giuliani, which is still his lawyer.
This guy wasn't a mayor. He wasn't. He was just very prominent.
Well,
And
Giuliani used to be.
not
mayor.
Giuliani. This guy was just a very prominent guy who was associated with Donald Trump very early on. Donald Trump appointed him to some position or something, and then he got outed. For some
There's
shady
been
stuff.
so many. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, there's a lot. He's probably going to pardon them all before he's going to himself is going to have to be removed by the military or sort of law enforcement organization.
You think?
You think he's going to pull that?
I absolutely think that. I absolutely think he's.
It's crazy, man.
Every time we've said no, that's too crazy for him to do. Look what he does.
Mm-hmm.
So wait. Let's explore this for a second.
Sure.
So you're saying that when his term is up, or if he loses, both scenarios, that he's going to have to be removed?
I absolutely think that. Because he's a divisive figure, and he thinks that the small core of people that's still loyal to him is enough to push his way into everything, because they've been enough to push his way into everything so far. And though he doesn't consider his he does. You have to understand, Trump is living in a bubble, and understand that he's actually.
What precedent could he? Let's say he gets another 4 years.
Yeah.
What precedent would he say? Could he say, I'm not leaving after his 4 years, after 8 years?
I would be surprised if he leaves on his own power. I'd really be surprised.
Even after 8 years?
Even after 8 years. even after 8 years. Remember, his only friends on the massive diplomatic scene are other dictators.
So that's where he's
And
getting his cues from, you mean?
that's where he's getting everything from. The idea of sending federal troops to Portland and Seattle and Houston and other democratic cities, it comes directly out of dictators' playbooks. Trust me, I come from dictators.
Yeah. Or the idea of not caring that 150,000 of your
Oh,
citizens have died.
that is beyond. Dictators are sociopathic, so they don't care about anybody that they can't reach out and touch, and that don't benefit themselves. And
Right.
he has everything with being that style.
So those are just numbers to him. They're not.
It's inconsequential to him. His own. You know what convinced that he's a truly evil man? He didn't care about his own followers. The people who propelled him into the presidency, he still wanted to have the Republican convention open and
Oh yeah.
so that tells me that he just doesn't give a shit about anybody. And when the right wakes, trust me, it's going to be a lot worse than the left. Left may riot and take that few McDonald's here and there across the land.
Yeah.
Right has a bunch of guns and will kill you. So I've always said the worst awakening is when the poor white Southerner realizes they've been had all these years, that they're gonna laugh out, and it's gonna be bad, real bad.
So there is an idea that he's going to postpone this election.
Absolutely. He's gonna if he doesn't postpone the election, everything he can to make it so it's delayed or can. He doesn't rock.
Go on.
He doesn't rock. He you know how the has been the young group called Rock the Vote. He doesn't rock the vote. He doesn't believe in that because he's already seen the evidence that he doesn't have enough numbers to buff legal election. So what he's going to do is he's going to corrupt it. He's already
So arguably, you think he's going to be the first one-term president of the 21st century?
Absolutely. And he's going to have to be removed by the military or a law organization like the AI, most likely.
Would that, do you think, include jail time?
I'm not sure, but I know that Biden is not saying no to people asking him questions like that about making him responsible for what he's done during his presidency.
45 has already posed the question, can a president pardon themselves?
Yeah.
Which is like, that's pretty funny that he would ask that question.
It's interesting because if I were in that position, I wouldn't ask the question.
Well,
yeah, but you're not halfway delusional. He is.
Yeah, I would just do it.
Right.
Like if I felt I needed to pardon myself, I'm not asking anybody if that's something I can do. I'm not even revealing my hand on that level. I'm just going to do it.
No, it was very odd when he did that. So if I, stole a bunch of money from a country, got a bunch of money from Russia, got some secrets from Russia, had some hookers pee on me in a hotel, can I pardon myself?
Well, I'm not even going to make it public knowledge that I pardoned myself.
Right.
Like you're gonna have to do that research, and those records are gonna be sealed because I'm the president. It doesn't mean that they don't become public knowledge. You're definitely gonna have to do the work to get the information. I'm gonna pardon myself, and I'm not gonna come out and be like, yeah, of the people that got pardoned, I'm pardoning myself. But if I did, and I'm Donald Trump, my language would be, because I know that the fake news and the media and the whole nine are going to trump up all these things against me. And so operating with foresight, you know what I mean? Yeah. So operating with foresight.
Yeah.
I went ahead and put a pardon in place.
Now there's also the case he went to Walter Reed Medical Hospital twice last 4 months with in the middle of the night, not scheduled or that. He just went, and then he was. Then I also say that my second part of this is that the doctor told him to take a cognitive test. This is the test he brags that they did so, but it's not given to any except for those who have a heart attack or a stroke. So my conclusion is that Trump is getting physically worse as we go along. He is in mini strokes or palpitations of the heart, which is making him rush to Walter Reed in the middle of the night twice, and probably more by the end of this cycle.
Wait, could you say that again?
Yeah. He has gone to Walter Reed Hospital twice in the last 6 or so in the midnight and has stayed a few days. Wonder what that is, because unfortunately, I'm not saying that, but he's keeping it quiet. Whatever it is, he's keeping it quiet. That's A. B.
Okay.
He bragged about taking the cognitive test to everybody that could listen, but you only give the cognitive test to people that have strokes, dementia, or somewhere.
Let's see.
This is interesting.
It's a shit show, man.
So this makes me wonder if he's even fit to run for president.
So I'm curious, right? Something that you said Joe Biden questions have been put forth to him about holding Trump accountable, and he hasn't said no. So do you think that this is something realistic that Trump has to fear post presidency being brought up on charges by
let me state very conservatively. If I see Kamala Harris as AG of the United States, you can definitely count on Trump being brought up on charges.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. Not Trump being brought up on charges, but the quid pro quo or the trade-off of Kamala Harris being Attorney General versus, because I don't want, that's a role I certainly don't want her in. But if that's the case, if people are willing to say I'm cool with that, if it means Trump's gonna be brought up on charges, I don't know I don't know if the trade-off is worth it. Like in post, and I'm just saying, I'm speaking for me, in post, right? Once Trump is gone, like the guy's gone. Do I think that that the need to prosecute him after the fact is greater than I feel? And that this doesn't say that Kamala Harris hasn't changed, that her positions haven't changed, that she hasn't progressed, that she isn't a different person when it comes to certain things. But do I feel that having Kamala Harris in that position, based upon her history, let's say she hasn't changed, right? Based upon her history, is worth the trade-off?
Well, the thing is that I think it should be preeminent in people's minds for this reason. If you don't hold Trump accountable, you have given away the office of the presidency to every crook that will ever run again, because they realize that they're safe and they'll never be prosecuted for anything they do.
Good point.
So you need to hold him accountable. That is a need, because if not, the country will not be able to hold itself together.
And what are the charges?
Laundering, criminal conspiracy, betraying the country to foreign powers. I mean, you name it, he's probably guilty of it.
So my next question is how has he gotten away with these things up to this point?
Because look, his entire cabinet has basically been arrested, put in jail, and he's basically pardoned them. Or there's some 45% turnover, like a McDonald's. I have to tell people that's not normal. leave the White House because it's a lot of pressure and they move on to other things. They're not forced out in corruption charges. That happened to Harding, which Harding was the most corrupt president in history. And he managed to retain some people the entire time. Trump has not been able to.
Wait a minute. So Harding was the most corrupt president in the history of the country?
Yes.
Educate me, please.
He basically ran a lot like Trump. He was what would be considered a billionaire. He had interests in China at the time. Not wells, mines, chemical factories, all sorts of stuff. And he basically attempted to use right-wing solutions to at the time, which were not as pointed as they are now, in order to solve the problems of massive poverty and hunger that was happening during the Great Depression. But the people he put in charge of these areas were extremely corrupt, basically criminals of their era. They were the Roger Stones of that time. But imagine, like, Roger Stone is not the outlier, he's the standard. And that's what you had in Harding. Harding himself was not a bad guy, to be completely honest with you. He spent most of his fortune after his presidency dealing with poverty issues. However, during his presidency, it was a no holds barred for sale sign on the presidency.
Okay. And we're putting Trump on this level. We're saying
Trump is by far on this level. He is more than Nixon. He is a lot like Harding. Where it's not Trump himself that you have to worry about, it's everybody that he appoints. And what there was a candidate the other day that wouldn't be basically the Republicans, the Senate GOP rejected because he was so corrupt and openly incompetent for the position of federal judge. And it made him, of course, super angry, and he did a bunch of tweets and all that shit.
Do you think 45 has broken a record for the number of people he's let go from his administration?
I don't know, because that's a tough standard. A lot of presidents, including Democratic ones, have let go of a lot of people during their time. But I think if by the time we get there for the first term presidency, one-term presidency, I think he might have the record, to be completely honest with you. He certainly has no qualms about using power to whatever means that he wants. He's already shown it, which is why I think he'll basically test the patience of the nation by retaining power in any manner he can. Which makes me upset to even talk about, because I don't want to live in a country like that. But unfortunately, this is the way, sadly, that he sees.
This is interesting. This is an interesting perspective. So we're contemplating the idea that Donald Trump, one, if he doesn't get reelected, isn't going to leave the White House. And if he does get reelected, isn't going to leave the White House. We're also contemplating, if he does leave the White House, if he's going to be charged for crimes committed as president.
Right. I feel that die in before the second is up. He's healthy enough to survive the pressures of. I also think he'll die in office of natural causes. If he gets reelected, it'll be the worst thing for him and his family. And I feel bad for his family, but I think they have to know that he's going to die in office. And I don't mean by unnatural means. I mean from the fact that he's a severely out of shape, overweight man with bad eating habits, who basically has never seen a sweet treat that he doesn't like. He's just in terrible shape.
Isn't he getting plenty of exercise in the golf?
Flavius,
golf
have you ever
course?
played golf? It's not exactly plenty of exercise. It's
There's some
the
walking. There's
funniest.
some walking involved. Well, he's
There's some
probably using
walking, but not for him.
probably
He
using the
has.
golf course. Yeah,
He's
the
using
golf.
golf carts, and there's a bunch of Secret Service around him. So
So you think that his health is that he's
We'll give
that bad
out.
off health wise?
I think he's in terrible health, and that we it's being hidden from us. Like I said, 2 trips to Walter Reed in the middle of the night, not exactly good news for the nation.
You know, this
Maybe
guy
good-
could have the best chefs in the world cooking him up some greens and some like they can make healthy food taste good.
Sure.
And he could have the best like personal trainers, like
Oh, sure.
just like helping him out and like
But that would be wise, and that's something that he's not.
yeah.
This
That
is
would be
this is very interesting. I didn't know these things about Donald Trump. I never considered that.
Sadly, I know too much about Donald Trump now. It's making me sick. Actually,
Go on.
it's you in my job. It's called opposition research. When you look at somebody and you break them down to what their core strengths are and what their core weaknesses are in front of the electorate that you're gaming for.
So you think he's that unhealthy that
I
he couldn't
definitely
last?
think.
That he couldn't last another 4 years. And you
Yes.
said he went to the hospital in the middle of the night
Twice.
for some kind of brain issues.
No. I didn't say brain issues.
Oh.
I said that I think he's either had a stroke, a mini
right.
stroke, or
Right.
some sort of heart palpitation.
Okay.
Because he's still being able to function, but he's actually seeming more. The things he says about Biden, that he's unconscious and that he's Sleepy Joe and all this crap. I think those are all projections of what he feels his weaknesses are.
Really?
Yes, I definitely believe so. Weak men always project their worst fears on their enemy.
Well, one thing, okay, so I don't remember the names, but there were some folks on YouTube who did have they were surmising what was going on with him and that perhaps he was on drugs and stuff like that. But the way that he speaks now compared to the way he used to speak years ago, where he used to speak in coherent sentences, and
Right.
now it's almost
Man,
like this
woman, car, TV.
slam. It's like this slam poetry, incoherent.
He's trying to
string of
appeal
words.
to the youth, Flavius, with his slam poetry. Don't denigrate the man.
I mean, oh man, he's a genius then.
He's for some things, it's too smart for him. I'm sorry, it's just too smart. But the idea that he would
Favorite
appeal to
line
the
is,
youth.
we have it under control. As much as it can't be controlled, it's under control. Like
That's
that was
right.
my favorite line.
He also said the other day, "It is what it is." When asked about the amount of COVID spreading through
Yeah.
the nation,
That
and I'm like,
directly
"What do you mean he
preceded.
is?" Yeah,
That directly preceded. We have it under control. As much
Oh,
as it
yeah.
can be controlled, it's under control.
yeah. That tells me that nobody is telling that man any truth at all anymore. Nothing. The emperor has no clothes.
Oh man, I used that recently. Well, I won't discuss how I used that recently, but let's just say it was a reply all that went to one person that I didn't think it was going to go to. What were we talking about? The emperor has no clothes. The way that Trump speaks in incoherent.
The slam
Incomplete
poetry stuff,
sentences.
which is hilarious.
Yeah, the slam. Oh, it is what it is. 150,000 deaths
And counting.
and counting. Crap.
We think that Biden will handle the COVID situation any better
Yes.
based
Uh,
on
on-
what?
Based on the fact that Biden knows how to make government work for maybe himself at a certain point, but also for the people for the causes he's willing to fight for. So I don't think that Biden takes the COVID thing lightly. I think he takes it as seriously as they did during the Obama presidency when they had a task force meeting on this subject every week. Infectious diseases.
Didn't they write a huge book or a huge booklet on exactly what to do if
Yes.
something like this happened?
And
They
they
left
threw it
it- they
away. They literally
left-
threw it away.
Listen, the Obama administration left the cabinet empty.
Cabinet what?
They left the cabinets empty.
That's one of the complaints that that Trump has about the Obama administration.
They left the cabinets empty?
Yeah, they left us tapped on all of the supplies that we needed
Like
in
what,
order
like
to deal with the
food, like-
pandemic.
Oh, I thought he meant like food or something. What do you mean,
No.
like food and medicine or?
I guess the Obama administration, supposedly, according to the Trump administration, that our country was set up and ready to deal with a pandemic, and Obama pretty much emptied out the coffers in those regards.
Like the book he
Which is
threw
not
out?
true. It's not true.
Yeah. Oh, true.
But Ish is being funny with you. So it's,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's only lost on Mike because he doesn't understand the term. It's not a term that he's just used to hearing, but that's one of the things that Trump has been echoing is that Obama
Yes.
administration
he has a huge
squandered
issue.
the
He has a
supplies.
huge issue, and again, it points to a man with little hands and little brains. That he has this running competition with himself about Obama. He hates him,
Yeah.
does everything to undo him without even thinking how dangerous it would be if he undoes everything that Obama did. And it has shocked many people in the professional community, in the foreign policy community, in the military community, just how petty he's willing to be by the end of this.
Well, I mean, he's the grandmaster birther.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. The OG.
Yeah, he's the guy who gives you your black belt. Like he created the martial art.
Idiot foo or something like that.
Like, we had a private citizen seek the birth
Dumb
certificate of the
foo.
sitting president.
Yeah, basically that's the and then you had his sycophants like Joe Arpaio, which also tried to conduct an operation, but was told by the governor, if you do, you will be brought up on charges.
Then they've
Yeah,
got the black. Then they've got the black version too. They've got the black sheriff.
I've seen him. I haven't.
David,
Where's he from? Texas?
Oh, that's a good question. Where is?
Is he the guy with the goatee?
He's the guy. He's the guy in my Let's Get Serious. Well, he was the guy. He's the patron saint of Let's Get Serious. He's the
He had a
black
goatee,
guy.
right?
I don't know if he had a goatee. Black guy with a big Texas hat.
And what's his angle?
Oh, he's gross treatment of prisoners and a love of Trump. Is the short and long of it. Horrible guy. I was telling Raul that I helped get a candidate into City Hall who helped founded an organization that outed. Oh no, sorry, that was Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Never mind.
Joe Arpaio, yeah.
We're talking about David Clark. Is his name?
Clark, that sounds familiar.
Sheriff Clark.
Yeah, no, I went to the I went and talked to the campaign manager of the guy who ended up replacing Sheriff Joe Arpaio through elections in our state. Really smart woman, and I forget the name of the. He's not the best. He works too closely with ICE and several other organizations that I think are a little on the corrupt side, but he's much better than Joe Arpaio. That's for sure. He's not creating a culture of racism.
David Clark, by the way, is Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It says here that he's listed under the Democratic Party, which is very
Whoa,
strange to me.
shocker.
Unless that's a typo.
That no, it could be the truth. Could be the truth. And I'm sure you'll see him trotted out in the Republicans' last efforts to try and divide the vote as much as they can.
Oh, and so what's up with Kanye is saying again that he is going to run and that he is trying to take votes away from
Biden.
Biden.
So
Yeah.
when we say things like Kanye is saying again, it's already been reported. Kanye never said that he wasn't going to run. That was a false report. He's
Oh,
always
okay.
maintained that he was running, and not only has he maintained that he was running, he's taken the appropriate steps in several different states to make sure that he can appear on the ballot.
Oh,
Oklahoma,
wow. Okay.
Oklahoma has said as much, has recognized him and said that he did everything that was necessary, and they're going to recognize him. Not every state, obviously, because he started late. It's already too late. But
Yeah.
for every state that he can be represented in, he's going to be. He's been
wow.
actively pursuing those processes or participating in those processes. He's the idea that he wasn't going to run from the jump, like when a story came out that he wasn't going to run.
Yeah.
Later on, like a day or two later, several stories came out refuting that. He still
okay.
has, as it stands, he still has every intention of running. Whether his intentions are real remain to be seen. But from what he himself is saying, absolutely he has every intention of running.
Well, he got over $1 billion in COVID relief for his
What?
group Yeezy.
What? Are you serious?
I am serious. I am serious as a heart attack. He got a lot of money from COVID relief funds for his organization called Yeezy, the clothing manufacturer that he copied off of Fubu.
You hearing this, Ish?
Yep, I'm not surprised.
I'm writing this down for my own.
It may have
Well,
not been
personal
a
reasons.
billion, but it was close. It was a shocking number. I will try and find it for you.
So first of all, he's polarizing. Second of all, people tend to downplay Kanye's ability as far as intellectual capacity because he has he's bipolar. Anyone who does that is allowing themselves to be fooled. And I say that to say, I'm not saying that, this guy is the best candidate for president or anything like that. What I'm saying is this man has demonstrated for capacity for genius in every aspect of his life, with the exception of some of the things he comes out and says, which people attribute to his bipolar disorder. Everywhere else, in all cases, he has demonstrated his capacity not to just be great, but to be genius. That doesn't necessarily translate to him being a genius in politics. What I'm saying is the guy isn't stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to buy for a minute that this guy isn't stupid, is just dumb.
Right.
I'm not saying he's a viable candidate. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying if the conclusion immediately based upon what we've seen is that he's stupid, then you're being selective on what you choose to look at. You're not looking at everything that he's been a part of. You're just looking at specific moments and coming to a conclusion. This isn't George Bush, where when you fine-tooth comb his history, you see that he's just been at the front of a bunch of failing businesses and blah, 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 blah. If you're going to look at Kanye's business track record, well, you're going to find completely the opposite. You're going to find that there's some genius going on here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I will say this that he was raised by two college professors. If you think Kanye is a dummy, then you don't see the long game that's happening to you with Kanye. He is definitely an egomaniac, and that definitely colors his perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But dumb. He's not dumb. He's not dumb.
He's actually an interesting character because, like, beyond the bipolar thing, which is you know, I mean, there have been plenty of people who are bipolar who folks maybe either just don't know that they're bipolar or they still come off as brilliant. Kanye's interesting because, you know, when he articulates himself, it's not in the way of like an academic. It's more in the way of a creative,
Mhm.
right? So part of people not taking him seriously in this arena is you know he's a creative more than an academic, which I don't think is going to hurt him, right? Because I think the whole the whole cult of personality likes these charismatic types, and
Sure.
the man is fascinatingly charismatic. Some
Yep.
folks have said that this is actually sometimes can be a trait of the bipolar when they're in their manic state. They can really be very inspiring and
You
just
ain't got the answer, Sway.
yeah, they could be just very fascinating. I mean, the man has tons of energy pouring off of him. You know, when he gets excited and starts pulling you into his conversation. Um, but you know, admitting things like him not being a fan of books and things like that certainly doesn't add to people thinking that he's traditionally smart. But I don't think traditional smarts is what's going to win him an election anyway.
Imagine waking up one day and saying President Kanye West.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, I think I'd probably either go to Ghana or, you know, go hang out with my friends, my cousins in Canada, or something. I mean, I don't know.
I'd look for any country in the Western Hemisphere that it does not have a communist group, and I would run there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No offense to our communist listeners, but I have a bad history, and they want me dead. So,
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
well, my family fought. Well, we can talk about this in the next segment. But my family fought against Castro, and they chased my father all over South America, and they found him a few times. So I don't want to tell you what happened to him during those times, but
Oh wow.
basically, if I ever return to Cuba, I'm going straight to jail.
Oh wow. This is actually kind of compelling.
Yeah, yeah, and I can tell you that part of my family was dead and part of them was in jail by the time I was born
Wow.
from the conflict. So when people kind of, that's one thing that I would like to say before we go is that we could come back, right, Fly?
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Okay. So when people talk about, oh, I can't wait for the revolution, or I can't wait for the Civil War, basically people calling the Civil War already because we're having some conflict in our history. People don't know what that means, because I know that they don't know, because I come from one, and look at my family. It's broken in pieces, and we're scattered all over the world now. So if you want that, then you keep advocating for that. That'll be great, and you'll find out yourself how horrible a civil war really gets.
Well, it's a thing that I've been running with, right? You know, we live in this era in America where we're so comfortable that we assume change comes with like coffee and tea talks.
Yes.
You know, that history has shown us that a severe price is paid to get relevant change.
Yes. Every time. Every time. And it may be worth it for some people. I'm always just cautious, and I tell people, you don't know what you're asking for when you're asking for this amount of difference in the country. And there may not be a country after this. We may separate into regional powers.
You know, one thing that's interesting is like this year, 2020 has precipitated a lot of change and a lot of opportunity for change. You know, there are people questioning what they're paying, you know, for rent or for mortgages, or how many resources the nation can allocate, and like how, you know, companies like Kanye's got, you know, millions or hundreds of millions of dollars uh, in PPP or whatever. And it's 2020 is really making people rethink things. You know, defunding the police. We really have an opportunity for change, and if we do it right, hopefully it doesn't have to be more violent than it's already been. Hopefully we can use legislation and courts and elections and all this other stuff that we have now that we've already gone through some rocky periods.
So I think that what you're describing, I think your position on that is fair, but I think the result will be cosmetic changes.
Well, I mean, certainly if we defund the police and certainly if we restructure the way that we see rents or those kind of things.
No, I'm not talking about what you expect to change. I'm talking about
What will actually happen?
Right, based upon, again, you're right. You know, we've seen some dynamic things, but I think that is always the calm before the storm when we talk about change.